My internet is disconnected, I think. Okay, I'm back. You were completely frozen on my screen.
You're back. Okay. Yeah, you were frozen on my screen. I kind of carried on talking, so I have no idea whether that was you or me, or whether anyone heard my introduction. Just in case my introduction was the thing that got, in case it was my internet, I'm just going to say that Alexis is fabulous. So that's kind of basically what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, she has an amazing online studio, Juniper Dance and Fitness, and she's very passionate about her fitness, as am I, and about the importance of fitness training for supporting your dance practice. So yeah, so that's why I've invited her to have a chat with me today. So I've got some questions. Can you tell me roughly how long have you been dancing and what got you started?
Okay, well, I've been dancing since I was a kid. I started off with ballet, then tap and jazz followed, and then modern when I was a teenager. I started with this thing we call belly dance 16 years ago. So
Wow.
quite a long time. It's the only one that I've stuck with for a long time.
And what do you think has made you stuck with it and made you stick with it compared to all the others?
I don't know what it is. I think I really enjoy the way the movement feels in my body. I love the culture, the music. The music is really what, made me stick around, because that was music was what I was interested in at the time that I started. So yeah, I think there's just always so much to learn. And that's true of any dance style if you want to go really deep into it. But I just feel like it's the gift that keeps on giving. It just keeps drawing me back with more and more and more.
Yeah, totally. And how does that time with your kind of fitness and well-being practice? Have you always been into fitness and that kind of and sporty kind of things, or was dance your method of fitness?
I was not into fitness at all. I hated it when I was at school. I hated PE. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. Dance was really the only movement that I did. I even recall staying with one of Dan's family members who's a runner, and he was asking me like, oh, what kind of exercise are you into? And I'm like, I don't do exercise. I hate that stuff. No, keep me far away from that. I'm not interested. So yeah, it was not something that I enjoyed or really wanted to go into, which is quite funny because now it's my job. Isn't that always the way?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like the thing that that got me into it was when I was in my early 20s, I got a knee injury while dancing, and going through months and months of pain, and doctors who didn't really think it was a big deal, and were basically saying, well, just stop doing the thing that hurts. Like, everything hurts. Help me out here. And realizing that if I wanted to get better and to get back to what I was enjoying, I was going to have to do something for myself. So this is kind of the gateway into the fitness journey for me.
Nice. And it's been a massive shift for you, and I can totally relate to that as well. I think I was the same kid at school, definitely not fitness at all. But these days, what's your kind of philosophy with regard to fitness and dance and how they fit together?
I mean, I think fitness is essential for dancers from multiple aspects. You've got your stamina that you've got to think of, so cardiovascular is important. You've got your flexibility, you've got your strength, you've got supporting your body through just existing day to day. And then if you add all the other stuff on top that people do, sitting at a desk job, picking up their babies and carrying them around, driving a car, there's all these constant pressures that are put on our body, and we're asking them to do just incredible things even day to day. And then you go to dance class and you ask them to do even more incredible things that we don't do in everyday life. So yeah, I think, it's a trifecta really, isn't it? Strength, flexibility and cardio. We want to be going for all three. So yeah, my philosophy when it comes to fitness is find something that interests you. So
Yeah.
in addition to dance, you know. So
Mhm.
for me, I went to yoga, I went to Pilates, I run, and these are all things that make me excited to go and exercise. Playing football or hockey or something is not something that would make me excited to go and
Mhm.
exercise. You know, running on a treadmill is not something that makes me excited. But running around
No.
a park is something that does make me excited. So yeah, I encourage people to find something that excites them to use as their cross
Mhm.
training.
Mhm. Yeah.
Otherwise, you
Yeah.
won't do
That's a
it.
good. Well, yeah, exactly, exactly. It's so true. You've got to have that kind of positive motivation, haven't you? For sure. Do you have any resistance from your students with regard to doing kind of conditioning when you incorporate it into your classes or into your training?
Not anymore, really. I think people, I mean, maybe from beginners, although I don't have a beginner class, so maybe my answer would be different if I was working with beginners. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think the people that are coming to my classes are kind of used to how I work, so they know it's kind of inevitable that it's going to come
Yeah,
up at
yeah,
least at some point.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, before, yeah, people would be like, "Why have we got to do this?" You know, I've
Mhm.
come to dance, not to get on the floor and do stretches and sit ups and whatever.
Mhm. What would you say to them?
Well, I used to just try and explain the purpose, you know, like this is the reason that we're doing this, and relating it back to the dance and trying to, you know, convince them almost that this is going to
Mhm.
make your dancing better. You know, we
Yeah.
want to do everything we can to make our dancing better. So even if it's, you know, not the most fun thing in the world, you know, it's going to benefit you ultimately.
Oh, I lost you there for a moment. You
I
went
also
super
lost
fast.
you for a sec. I think it's me. My
Okay,
internet.
I'm not sure if it's you or me. I'm in a funny corner of our place at the moment, so it might be me dropping in and out. Anyway, we shall see. But I think I caught the end of that as well. So yes,
Okay,
trying to
cool.
get people to yeah, understand the benefits for their dancing and why, we're not just doing this for torture, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with each exercise I give them, I try and tell them this is specifically what this is for. This is going to help you to develop this muscle for this move,
Mhm.
you know? And
Mm.
then they're like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I understand why you're making me do it. You're not just making me get on the floor for half an hour and torturing us for no reason. I think it's
Indeed,
so
indeed.
important that they know. I
Mhm.
think these days, rather than having resistance to doing the conditioning, it's more like, oh God, she's going off on one, you know, like she's getting carried away, she's adding things in, and that I have a tendency to do that, and I'll like look around the room and be like, oh, she's pregnant. She needs to work on her internal rotation for when she gives birth. The whole class could benefit from working on internal rotation for arabesques and turns. Let's do some of that. And they're like, oh, come on, Alexis,
Nice.
stop. So that's my problem, just
Internal.
getting carried away.
Yeah, there's so many things you could cover as well. It's easy to do, I'm sure, for sure. So, what about your own personal practice? What does that look like? If you don't mind sharing a little bit of what you do for your own body at the moment.
Sure. I'm very much into Pilates. That's my main kind of cross training, I guess, where I draw a lot of my conditioning from for classes and things like that. So that features quite heavily in day-to-day
Mhm.
practice. In terms of dance, yoga also, like my yoga practice is a bit right now because I respond much better to yoga in a class setting than doing it by
Mhm.
myself. So I need to find another class to go to.
Mhm.
That's kind of what I'm doing in the background and running as well. In terms of dance, I always think this is the hardest part for people is like knowing what to practice and
Mhm.
making the most of the time that you have. And I think, you know, basics need to be done all the time. So rather than standing in front of the mirror and drilling basics. I make combinations for myself, and that kind of encourages me to practice the basics. And I do this kind of thing in my class on a Friday also, is rather than just standing there and drilling technique, it's making a combination that forces me to drill the technique. And then you feel like you're dancing at the same time, you know, you're not holding back on the fun part.
Yeah.
I like drilling with someone guiding me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. No, that makes sense. It makes sense. It's
trick myself into it.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, and we're not going to be doing like loads and loads and loads of repetitions, you know, if you were performing. So it makes sense to practice the combos that you might be more likely to use when you're actually dancing. That's a good way to do it. I like it. Might have to steal that one. And who are you training with at the moment, either dance or fitness or both?
In dance, I recently did some workshops with Shahrazad from Egypt. They were fantastic.
I really wanted to go to that and I couldn't. Oh, it looked amazing.
They were so good. I got so much out of it and so much to work with. So I'm working on some of that stuff at the moment because I really enjoyed it. Other than that, haven't done as much dance training this last year as I would have liked to. Money's been an issue because of the pandemic and trying to get back to normal and all that kind of stuff. So, and time also, like surprising amounts of time was just completely gone. I thought I was going to have loads of time during the pandemic to do stuff, and then it was like, hold on, I'm busier than I've ever been. What the hell's going on? You know, so dance-wise, I've done less than I would have liked to. But in fitness, I've been doing quite a lot. So I did a program with Jen Scare.JenFit on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, I know her.
Really good. Yeah, she's fantastic. That was really good. I did that last year. And at the moment, I work with a guy called, well, I don't work with him directly, I work with him online, Michael King, who is very big in UK Pilates world, made lots of contributions. So yeah, I've been doing some training in that. I did my pre and postnatal fitness qualification as well. Thank you. So yeah, I've been keeping myself busy with that because in the years that have gone by, I let that side of my professional development slip a little bit because I was working all the time on weekends, teaching workshops, and never available to go and do additional training. And then, of course, everything moved online. And all of a sudden, I have this time that I can actually do it. So I've been taking advantage of that more than the dance side.
Cool. That's really awesome. That's amazing. Is there anyone that you really want to train with money and time were no objects? Any dream courses that you've got on your bucket list?
In dance or fitness or both?
Either, both.
I would like to do, there's a woman called Lauren O'Hyan, and she's in the US, and I follow her on Instagram, and she has a course which is all around like pre and postnatal stuff, which I would really like to do, and rehabilitating the core and the pelvis, actually, the pelvic floor, and then that whole area, which I think really links in well with our dance because so much of the movement is based in the hips and the pelvis. So yeah, that's something I'd really like to do. That's expensive. I don't have the money to do that right now. So that's like a one-day kind of deal. In dance, I'd like to do some training with Julia Farid, maybe. She's fantastic. Karen also. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So what about the future? Where would you like to take your dance and your fitness, either for yourself or your work? What kind of things have you got lined up?
What have I got lined up?
That's a good question.
I would like to go back to house dance. I haven't done it for a couple of years. I was doing it for a while and I was getting, like, I think quite good at it. And then I just stopped going. I injured my knee and then I stopped going to classes, and was, I think, actually a little bit afraid of re-injuring myself. And that kind of held me back. I would like to go back to that, and going back to the who would I like to do more training with, there's a couple of guys, Yugson, he's in Paris, and Super Malcolm,
cool.
I think he's in London. I would like to do some classes with them. They're very, very cool. Nice. So yeah, I would like to go back to that. In fitness, I think I would just like to go a bit deeper into the pre and postnatal stuff, because you know, just seeing how, especially, you know, people who have had babies have gone through such a traumatic experience in their body, growing a human and then birthing a human. It's so traumatic for the body. And you watch these people, they get left behind by the fitness industry because people are too afraid to take them on and injure them, or they just don't have access to classes. And I think it's such a shame, because being a mother is so demanding, physically and emotionally. And I think as fitness professionals, we can offer so much to that group, and they're relatively underprovided for. So that's something I would like to do more of.
Nice. Cool, that's really awesome. That's awesome. Anything else you'd like to share? How about events you might have coming up, or anything you'd like to let people know about?
A lot.
Really?
So many. I know. We've gone from this 2 years of nothing to all of a sudden everything is happening all at the same time. It's just everything. Yes.
What's going on, Alexis?
So I'm doing applications for Juniper Project at the moment, which is open until the 15th of May, which is a choreography project that I do every year. I've been doing it since 2013. Oh my God, it's been 10 years. So that's happening. Zoe Jakes is coming to the UK, first time ever in Europe, so exciting, on the 30th to the 31st of July. And then we got Infusion Emporium in October with Rachel Bryce and Sadie. And I'm not even going to talk about that because it's the bane of my existence right now.
Fair enough.
Various reasons.
Oh gosh, it will happen. It will happen. I have faith. I'm sure it will.
It has to happen this year, but it really does feel like the event's cursed.
Oh no. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be worth the wait. We're all going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. And you're really pulling out all the stops this year, that's for sure. Getting Zoe on top of Rachel and Sadie in the same year, I think you're really spoiling us. So thank you so much. I know. Thank you so much for all of the work that you do with bringing all of these amazing teachers and amazing events to the UK. So one final little question for you. What makes you feel strong and badass in dance and in your everyday life?
Oh my God, how do I answer that question? What makes me feel strong and badass? Oh God. That's a difficult question, Charlotte.
I did send it to you in advance.
I know you did, and I ignored it because I didn't know how to answer it. You know what? Something that always makes me feel good. There we go. Let's go from that angle. Is teaching and people's reactions to taking class. I think just being a light in somebody's day is what makes me feel badass. when people
Amazing.
say, you know, your class was the highlight of my day, or thank you
Mm.
for doing this because now my back doesn't hurt, or, you know, whatever it is, just being that light in someone's day, that makes me feel like a badass.
Completely, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That's a great answer, and I totally hear you. It's good to know that we've helped people on their days, on their
Yeah.
Cool. So, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great. We had a few little technical bumps, but I think we got there. And I will try and pop some links below. If I miss anyone that you've mentioned, Alexis, please do drop the links when I share these afterwards. And it's been great chatting to you. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining
you
me.
too. Thank you, Charlotte, for inviting me.
My pleasure. All right.
Now I've
Well,
got to try and end this thing, and I don't know how to do
I
that.
don't know. Well, I've got a cross at the top of the screen, so I'm going to press it
Okay.
and see what happens.